Welcome to the 23rd episode of Anycast. This is my podcast for YouTube where we talk about all the topics that are going on, though predominantly sports. A lot of sports to dive into, and we're going to get started with one that actually broke overnight. This is a big time monster trade. This is a move that's going to completely impact the course of the NFL playoffs next year, and we haven't even finished this season yet. That would be the Matthew Stafford Jared Goff trade. The Lions are sending Stafford to the Rams. In exchange, they're going to get Jared Goff and a couple of first round picks. I believe there's a third round pick involved with that. I didn't quite get those details, but I do know that Goff and 2 first rounders are going to be going to Detroit. I think it's a really good. It's kind of like the Bills Vikings trade when the Vikings sent Diggs to the Bills and got a first round pick back. I think this could be one of those types of deals where it could work out in a win-win scenario for both. Because in the short term, I think this will work out beautifully for the Rams. They have the one missing piece that they think will get them to the Super Bowl because they know that their window is like now. They got to take advantage of this window to win a Super Bowl. And so what's the weak link in their lineup? It's obviously a quarterback. Nothing against Goff. He's a pretty decent quarterback. But Stafford gives you a huge upgrade. He is a stronger mobile quarterback with a better arm accuracy, better arm strength, all that stuff. I think he's going to help the Rams make a push for the Super Bowl next year because you've got the defense, you've got the weapons on offense. You just needed a quarterback that's going to get you over the hump, and I think Stafford is going to provide that, which is bad news for the rest of the NFC West for sure because now you're going to have to deal with Stafford twice a year. And that division is loaded. So I think that no doubt is going to make the Rams the front runners in the NFC West next year and makes them a bona fide Super Bowl contender, joining the likes of the Packers and the Bucs. I say those two because we're uncertain about the Saints and the Drew Brees situation, if he's officially done or not. That remains to be seen. Now, short-term wise, that's good for the Rams. Let's talk about what that means for the Lions. With the Lions, you get a quarterback that, yes, is a bit of a downgrade, just a teeny downgrade compared to Stafford. But look at what you're getting. You got 2 first-round picks. That's big because you're obviously in rebuild mode. Stafford was not going to be part of the rebuilding mode. That much was for sure. Goff can at least give you some kind of stability and give you an option at quarterback. And if you don't like what you see, well, hey, that's what the first-round picks are there for. If you happen to flounder, not do well, and you think there's a QB out there that could be worthwhile, that's probably going to get you that quarterback then. So I think long-term wise, this could work out for Detroit. That remains to be seen. We'll see what happens. But if you're a Packers fan, aren't you glad you won't have to deal with Stafford twice a year anymore? He was the one thorn on your side in that division for the Lions. So glad that's over with. Now, speaking of the Packers, they dumped Mike Pettine as their defensive coordinator. I think what clinched it was the Greg Williams move. In other words, let's let the wideout get loose and because we're thinking, oh, they're just going to try and go for the field goal, so let's protect that. Nope, Brady over the top gets a touchdown right before halftime. That was a play that sealed Pettine's fate. So the Packers are going to be getting a new defensive coordinator, hopefully one that'll improve the defense and make Rodgers look good because you definitely have the weapons on offense and you've got Rodgers. Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So offensively, you're fine. You just got to tweak that defense a little bit, and you got to get a defensive coordinator that'll help you improve that side of the ball. Green Bay will be fine. And by the way, I don't quite buy into the rumor talks of, oh, is this it for Rodgers? And no, Rodgers is going to leave Green Bay. I'm going to quote his own quote. RELAX. Relax. He's not going anywhere. There's no way he's going to leave after 2 straight trips to the NFC Championship game to go chase a title when Green Bay definitely has a team that's capable of winning it all. So if you're a Packer fan and you're worried about the offseason and, oh, what's going to happen with Rodgers, nothing's going to happen. This is just stupid rumor stuff that's going to hype people up and create buzz. It's not going to happen. Don't buy into that stuff. Believe me. Now, the team that beat the Packers to get to the Super Bowl. The Buccaneers are the first team in the history of the Super Bowl era to play the Super Bowl in their home stadium. And isn't it fitting that they did it by winning 3 road games? They did not play a single home game in the playoffs. And of course, the one time they get a home game, it's the Super Bowl. Tom Brady, whether you love him or you hate him, you have to appreciate what he means to this league. He is, without a doubt, the Michael Jordan of the NFL, the Tiger Woods of the NFL. He is that player that is going to revolutionize the league and absolutely is a winner. First year with the Buccaneers, he gets into the Super Bowl. I mean, that alone is incredible. And if he pulls this off, I mean, the question about whether he's a first ballot Hall of Famer has been long gone. This is going to start the debate of who is the greatest athlete of all time in professional sports. Tom Brady will be in that argument if he finds a way to win this Super Bowl against the defending champion Chiefs, who got there by beating the upstart Bills. Buffalo is a good team. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with for years to come, but at this point, it doesn't seem like anyone's going to be slowing down the Chiefs anytime soon in the AFC. They just look unbelievable. So, everybody gets the matchup that they dreamed of. Tom Brady versus Patrick Mahomes. The legend versus the legend in the making. It's going to be an epic battle. I think this is going to be a nail-biter, and I'm making a prediction right now. I think the Bucs are going to win the Super Bowl. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they're going to do it because I just cannot get over the fact that you can't ever count out Tom Brady. The man is a winner. I don't know. I don't care what team he's got. He finds a way to win because he is that type of leader. I think he's going to find a way to win. Now, one thing I'm going to take out of the NFC title game, besides my Packers losing, but that's another time. I'm sure you all have seen this all over social media. The embrace that Tom Brady had with his son at the end of the game. I mean, that really struck a chord to me. I mean, that's just awesome. That's a nice father-son bond. And how cool is it for Brady's kid to get to witness all this at legendary Lambeau Field? That's an experience he's going to cherish for the rest of his life. He gets to watch his dad beat the Packers at famous Lambeau Field to win a trip to the Super Bowl, and then you get to embrace him at the end of the game. I mean, how awesome is that? I mean, even if you're a Packer fan and yes, you're upset that we lost, you have to appreciate that. I mean, because in this day and age, most of us haven't been able to appreciate this for the last year because of the pandemic. So I think it's awesome that we get to cherish these moments. I think it's a reminder. We have to cherish every moment as if it's our last. Seize the day, as they say. So with that, let's move on to men's basketball because we're getting to the nitty-gritty here. We're at the end of January. March Madness is right around the corner before we know it. That is if we are able to have one this year. And by golly, as it has been the wackiest season ever in men's basketball. The perennial powers, Duke, Kentucky, are struggling mightily. And then you have teams that came out of nowhere like Alabama. Yes, Alabama. I'm not talking about the football team that won another national championship. I'm talking about the basketball team. The team that doesn't get much attention because Bama's so good at football. They are a top 10 bona fide contender. Unfortunately, they lost to Oklahoma yesterday, but Bama's been unbelievable this year. And so has my alma mater, Mizzou. How about them Tigers? Can I get an M-I-Z-Z-O-U for all the Mizzou faithfuls out there? I mean, this has just been a crazy season where the teams that normally are okay, but not usually the spotlight takers, they are the spotlight takers this year. And the perennial blue bloods are struggling. And then there's the constant, Gonzaga and Baylor, the two undefeateds that have dominated the top two in the polls for virtually the whole season. They continue to roll. At this point, they look like the two favorites to win it all and possibly could be meeting up for the national championship game. Now, little thing about the tournament, assuming it does go, obviously because of the pandemic still being an issue, we're not going to have all these regional areas, so we're not going to have an east, south, West, and Midwest region. No, all the games are going to take place in Indianapolis, which makes sense. Less traveling means less likely to spread the virus, which I'm going to get to in a second. But it's going to take place in Indianapolis, which is where the Final Four would have been this year. So I think that this is going to be a really interesting tournament this year if we do have it, because there's a lot of unknowns that we're dealing with here, and a lot of craziness, and every team looks pretty good. I mean, right now I got to think Gonzaga and Baylor are the favorites, but then after that, I don't think there's really a clear-cut choice. The defending champion Virginia is quietly looking good, although they lost yesterday. And so, I mean, there's a lot of really solid teams that really could make a deep push this year, especially with all the unknown surroundings going on. In the NBA, it's pretty much business as usual. The Lakers are the Lakers. They continue to roll. The Clippers continue to roll. The Bucks are, well, let's just say they're okay, but in a weak Eastern Conference, I think they're going to be fine. The Nets, man, they're turning into the Warriors, because now you got Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving, rather. So you got that trio, and they're rolling right now, and I don't know if anybody's going to stop them. So I think at this point, I would say Nets and the Bucks and the Sixers. Actually, I'd say Nets and the Sixers look like the two best teams in the East. Bucks are probably in that next tier, and then I think it's everybody else. In the West, I think Lakers, and then I think right below them are the Clippers. And don't sleep on the Utah Jazz. They have been really, really good this year. I think they could be a sneaky team in the Western Conference. But really, I think there's not really much going on with the NBA. I think it's just business as usual. Boom, 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 boom. And I think in the end, you're going to see that the Lakers are going to find a way to win another title at this point, because I don't really see anybody stacking up to the Lakers at the end of it. Moving on to the NHL. In case you haven't figured it out, it's not your usual Western Conference, Eastern Conference type deal. No, we got 4 different divisions. They try to accommodate the teams by their regions. Again, for the safety of COVID-19 and the protocols that they're following, less travel means less likely to have an outbreak. So far, they've been, well, let's say the Lightning are doing really well. The defending Cup champs have not missed a beat. The Capitals have looked really well, and that's despite not having Ovechkin and a few others because of COVID protocols. But Dallas and Florida, yes, the defending Western Conference champion Dallas Stars and the Florida Panthers were the last 2 undefeated teams in the NHL. They have both since fallen this week and are now no longer undefeated. That was really surprising. But I think what's even more of a surprise is the fact that you got some pretty solid teams all around the NHL. And with these divisional matchups, all the games are going to be played within their division. So it's a 56-game schedule. All the teams in the division will play each other. They're not going to play anybody else other than the teams within their division. So I think that's what's going to make things interesting. And I think it's going to make the regular season important, because every point is going to matter, because you're playing everybody in the division. Everyone knows each other well. That'll make the regular season intriguing, especially when the format is going to be top 4 teams in each division make the playoffs, so that you can still have a 16-team field. The West Division looks like it's going to be stacked, and right now it's starting to shape up that way. It was bunched up at first, but I think things are starting to shape out the way we all thought it was going to be. Colorado was everyone's pick to win the West Division and maybe make a push for the Stanley Cup. Vegas was another contender. The Blues are another contender, and right now they are your top 3 teams in the West Division. I think those are going to be the 3 teams that are going to be the best threats to get to the Stanley Cup Finals in that division, without a doubt. The North Division, which is basically the all-Canadian division, I think that's up in the air. I think maybe give the edge to Toronto at this point right now, based on how things have played out. In the East Division, I believe it is the one that the Capitals are in. Yes, East Division. Capitals look really good. The Flyers are picking up from where they left off last season. The Bruins are starting to look really good. Pittsburgh's starting to get their feet into the water. I think those are going to be ultimately your 4 teams that make the playoffs in the East Division. The Central Division is wide open. Columbus at the moment is winning it. Florida is the only team in that division that has not lost in regulation. They're in the mix. Tampa, the defending champs, are in the mix. The team they beat to win the cup is in the mix, as is Carolina. And then there are the three teams that all were at one point in the Blues division. Nashville, struggling. Blackhawks, struggling. And the Red Wings are the Red Wings. If you've watched the NHL the last few years, they have been one of the worst teams in the NHL. That has not changed this year with the alignments. So I think that Central Division is going to be wide open. But in the end, I think Tampa's going to ultimately make a push because, quite frankly, you cannot go against the Lightning, and they are the defending champs for a reason. Now, all of these leagues have done a remarkable job dealing with the pandemic, which we have good news. We have vaccines going out. That is obviously the best news that you can get because with the vaccine, that will help reduce the spread. Now, unfortunately, there have been some variants that have taken place that have hit the U.S. I believe South Africa, Brazil, and the U.K. are the three variants that have made their way to the U.S. So they say that the vaccine is still going to be effective against those variants, and I believe them. We trust science. Science is important because they know what the heck is going on. And the good news is our new president, Joe Biden, is going to follow the science, follow the protocols. I think we'll be in good shape as far as that is concerned. We have to continue to wait it out. We have to tough it out, continue to do what we can to help the cause. But if you're able to, if you're eligible to get a vaccine, go and get the shot. Get a vaccine shot because that is going to help reduce the spread. So, and there's that. And I'm going to end this podcast episode on this note. Have you ever wanted to experience the thrill ride of a roller coaster? You know, the ups and the downs and the excitements and the disappointments. Well, how about the thrill ride that GameStop stock owners were on this week? If you haven't watched it all, it's all over the news. I mean, it is crazy what has happened with GameStop. Their stocks surged unbelievably, like a meteor coming out of nowhere. And so what did the Robinhood app do? They blocked some people from making investments on the GameStop stock. Try saying that 10 times fast, resulting in the stocks to drop. They have since recovered, but I think it's going to be a fascinating ride to see what happens because they have quoted this as a David versus Goliath battle. The little guy trying to bend its way through, and the big guys are like, whoa, 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 whoa. We're not going to let the little guys get what they want. Let's push them down. So I think that's going to be a fascinating story. If you're into stocks and you're into the business news, that's going to be fascinating. And of course, the other news that's making waves, I'm sure you've all seen what Bernie Sanders wore during the inauguration, and he's been all over the place, and he has become his own meme. In fact, he has become so popular that I have made him, if you watch this on YouTube when this comes out, you are going to see the Bernie Sanders image on the screenshot of the video that will be up. Obviously, I don't do live stuff. It's just the audio, but you're going to see the Bernie Sanders thing on there. It is that big of a wave. And it's for a good cause. If you watch State of the Union on CNN last week, Bernie Sanders, who actually is enjoying this, by the way, and that's the important thing, he's enjoying this, is doing this for a good cause. He's making it's a beneficial cause. And so definitely support that, but he's enjoying it. So if he's enjoying it, I'm enjoying it. So I'm going to let you enjoy it when you watch this episode. And until then, I hope you guys have a good rest of the week. Have a good rest of your time. Stay safe out there. And hopefully we have a good Super Bowl. So take care, guys.